Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Come on!
Live from beautiful Calcutta. This is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kastuba Das. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to Calcutta. Kastuba's in Mayapur, and me and Mara are taking off tomorrow. There's no show tomorrow. You're going to have to. You can still listen to the Bhagavatam. You can still listen. I'm sure you haven't listened to every Wisdom of the Sages episodes, people. You can go back, catch up, binge listen to. You know, some people join late. They didn't have time. I don't have time to go back. Tomorrow's your day. You get a day off from live, and you can go back and check some out. Mara took me out for a Valentine's dinner yesterday.
How was that?
It was incredible. Oh, my God. The best vegetarian cuisine ever. We've really
It wasn't
well
prasadam
here in Calcutta.
It wasn't.
It was prasad. You know why? I offered it with love.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
Lying online.
God is everywhere. God is everywhere, Kastuba. Why are you fighting me?
Okay. Was there any flash mob? Did any flash mob show up?
No. But I don't know what you got for a nugget today, but it's going to be hard to beat yesterday's episode of the Cocaine Bear. If you missed it, I highly recommend you go listen to yesterday's episode with the Cocaine Bear nugget.
Well, you can't top the Cocaine Bear, so you have to go the other direction. So I'm going to completely.
By the way,
direction.
Let it be said, I've never done cocaine, but I did.
Mara has. What? But
No, Mara never did cocaine. I don't think. She's presenting herself as very pure.
She's a very poly purebred over here.
She's sweet poly purebred. That's what she is. Sweet poly purebred.
Knitting away over there.
But I've never. No.
What are you doing with your hand, Raghunath? What is this thing that you're doing?
Well,
what is
I'm
that?
saying because I walked out of this nightclub I worked at when I was 19, and I found a rock of cocaine.
You sure it's cocaine?
I am drug illiterate. I didn't know what it was.
What do you know about a rock?
My
Like it was crack cocaine?
I don't know what it was. It was a big.
You don't know what you were holding there.
Probably worth like $1,000, but it was in a plastic bag, and it was at a nightclub where everybody did cocaine, and my girlfriend who did cocaine at the time, she took it.
What were you doing with a girl that does cocaine, Raghunath? What was that all?
No, I don't know. It was a time of my life. I just wanted. She was nice. She was nice in every respect, but she did a little cocaine sometimes. It was It was the club scene in the 80s. It was.
But you seem like such an anti-club scene guy.
I was. Well, me, Paramananda, and Gavin from Burn, we all got a job at a disco. It was like the Studio 54 of the 80s. The Tunnel. Are you familiar with it? The Tunnel?
I always heard about it.
I write about it. And Greg DeGacy is raising his hand. He partied there. I mention it in my book. Okay.
All right, we're not going. Nothing to do with cocaine.
We're not going in cocaine directions today.
No, no. We're all getting addicted to talking about cocaine.
Maybe the first time in a Bhagavatam class in the history of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya that cocaine was mentioned so much yesterday.
Yeah, so we talked a lot about cocaine yesterday. We're not going there today.
But Calcutta is also historic. There is there's also the ashram where Bhakti Siddhanta and Prabhupada met here.
Alta Dunga, I was
Oh, that's what you were
suggesting.
telling me to go to.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't do that today either.
Prabhupada's house, the little temple that he used to go to.
Yeah, we didn't do
The
it.
place where
We didn't
Prabhupada
do
was
it.
born. I've been
We
to
didn't
these
do it.
places.
Oh, anyway, loving Calcutta, leaving tomorrow for Goa. Gonna work on my new book, Prabhu.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's keep this moving, Raghunath. You seem
Okay.
a little rudderless here. You seem a little rudderless. Why don't we bring Mara into the scene here? See if she's got any announcements.
Miss Mara has to announce Italy. My Italy people are saying, "Hey, you better push Italy. It's going to sell out. We got to get people on that."
Yeah, we still have some spaces left for our Wisdom and Sages retreat in Italy, June 11th through 18th. You can go to wisdomandsages.com/events to register.
Okay.
Also, we have back to
That's not
recovery
just
group
Italy.
meetings.
That's Tuscany.
Tuscany.
Yes.
Yes.
Northern Italy. It's a
It's
wonderful
beautiful.
place to be, and we're there. We're hanging. Even Jiva G's with us.
All right.
Speaking of Jiva G, we got back to recovery group meetings today. The men meet at noon and the women meet at 2 p.m.
Live,
and in
live, and
Alachua,
Alachua.
there's a live meeting as well. That's all women today.
Okay.
And no show tomorrow.
No
No
show
show.
tomorrow.
And we're
If you
back at
haven't
the
bought my
same
book,
time.
Haven't bought my book, Amazon.com. Pre-order it.
8
Yeah.
copies.
Yeah, by 1, 2, 3 copies. It's you know what? It's Sankirtan. It's giving spiritual truths to people of the world.
Okay.
Um,
Let's get into the nugget, Raghunath.
Let's
We're
get
moving
into
in
it.
a
What do you
positive
say?
direction. Yeah, what we have here today, Raghunath. Do you want me to read it or?
yeah, you read it because my phone is charging somewhere.
Okay, and I got a lot of information on this. We went from Pablo Escobar, the cocaine bear, and we moved to Gandhi. Between
Okay,
another
we're
direction.
moving up.
Okay.
Moving up.
So what I'm about, what we'll read and we'll discuss today as our nugget. Sometimes it's been called, let's see, it's been called the 7 social sins, and it's also been called 7 blunders of the world that lead to violence by Gandhi. But what I did a little research. It actually, he's not the originator of it. This list, we're going to read you a list of whether you want to call them social sins or blunders. That Gandhi listed in a newspaper called Young India. That was his newspaper. It was his weekly newspaper called Young India in October of 1925. But an almost identical list had been published 6 months earlier in England in a sermon at Westminster Abbey by Frederick Lewis Donaldson. And so Gandhi wrote that a correspondent who he called a fair friend had sent the list, that he wanted readers of Young India to know, if they do not already, the following 7 social sins. And Gandhi also wrote, naturally, the friend does not want the readers to know these things merely through the intellect, but to know them through the heart so as to avoid them. Okay?
Right,
I thought these
Gandhi.
are some interesting things worth discussing. You ready?
Okay, great.
So it's a list of 7. The first one is this: wealth without work.
You want something for nothing. That's sounds like Prabhupada's don't gamble.
Yeah,
Which
I
isn't
could see gambling
which isn't a
related to that.
Vedic thing. This is one of Prabhupada's rules, like the 4 principles of freedom or the 4 regulative principles. Those are Prabhupada's. I don't think they're written down anywhere.
No, come on, they're in Bhagavatam. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, there's that.
No, I don't think
These-
they're. I don't think they're in the. Where are they in the Bhagavatam?
Yeah,
No
they're
illicit
in the
sex,
first
no
canto.
meat eating, no gambling.
Yeah. When
Where's
King Parikit is dealing with Kali,
Oh.
it's all there. It's all there.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, he didn't just whip those up.
Is that it? Those are the 4 legs of the bull?
Yeah, it's all
Oh,
related.
All right. I
Yeah.
stand corrected.
Okay, but let's read them quickly and then let's go and discuss them. I'm going to read them quickly, okay?
All right, read them quickly first, because that first one's a very interesting one.
Yeah, we can talk about it. So there's wealth without work. There's pleasure
okay.
without conscience.
Ooh.
knowledge without character,
Problem.
commerce without morality, science without humanity.
Beauty without brains.
No.
That's not one.
No. Religion without sacrifice, and politics without principle.
Okay.
Okay.
These are problems.
So let's start. And what I did, Raghunath, I actually I looked up the definition of each one of those things that it was without, like looked up the definition of conscience, looked up the definition of character, and so work perhaps is the one that we needed the definition least. Activity involving mental or physical effort done in order to achieve a purpose or result. So if you get wealth, who I was thinking of when I read this was Warren Buffett.
I was thinking about investors. That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, well, I was thinking of him. I know not that it's a small thing, but he's like limited the money that he gives to his, to his relatives, in their inheritance. But I saw something that he wrote, or he was being asked. He said, "People ask me where they should go to work. Where should I get a job? Where should I work?" And he says, "I always tell them to go to work for whom they admire the most." He said, I have urged people to seek employment in 1, the field, and 2, with the kind of people that they would select if they had no need for money.
Huh. I like that.
I like that a lot, and I've kind of tried to do that with my own life, But wealth without work, that was the first one, The second one was pleasure without conscience. How would you define conscience in this context?
Wait. Wealth without work. I think that's worth even teasing out. So,
Okay, sure.
So let's talk about that. Wealth without work. What does that mean? Just like investing money. You're
It
not
could be
really
inherited.
working.
It
Okay.
could be.
You're saying inherited wealth that has potential. What's the title of these things that are problematic?
Not things that are problematic. One was they were called the 7 social sins.
Social sins.
Or another. I don't know if it came from Gandhi,
I
but
don't think it's a
sometimes
sin
it's presented as 7 blunders.
I don't think it's a sin to inherit money. It's just what you do with that money. There's people that inherit money and a parent thinks, well, I'm just going to leave money in my kids. No.
Well, let's say you got the wealth, you should still work. It's the not working that's the sin. I think is that what he's talking about.
Okay. Yeah. What do you think about when it comes to like gambling? Gambling or is investing gambling?
Well, we're gonna. I don't want to go too back to Horton of yesterday, the cocaine guy.
Right.
But there is something to not chasing. Like we think wealth is a key to happiness, and we think work is like it drains us of happiness.
Try to avoid work.
People generally do, but actually, when you find work that's fulfilling, it's very satisfying, and in a very healthy way. So there's something about not needing too much, not wanting too much, and there is something about a good work ethic, which tends to be a healthy thing for people. You find the work or the service that you want to do, that you have, again, as Warren Buffett was saying, the field and the kind of people that you would select. If I had no need for money, but I said I still want to work, what would I do? And then go and try to do that for a living, and maybe you don't make as much money as you might make in another field, but hopefully you make enough, and you feel good waking up every morning and going to work. I once heard Bruce Springsteen speaking about this. He talked about like both his parents, and their relationship with the work that they did in life. And he saw like his father, just like his work was just drudgery. Sure. And it was, he was working in some factory or something like that.
Yeah.
Not coal miner, but it was kind of like it was, he dreaded going to work every day. And his mother kind of liked to put on some nice clothes and go and work. And it kind of gave her some purpose and some meaning. She took pride in her work. But I think if we're not so worried about making lots of money, but trying to do something that we feel is meaningful and satisfying, then we can be happy simply, Any case, you could talk a lot about
Okay.
that, but there's quite a few here. Pleasure without conscience.
Pleasure without conscience. What kind of pleasure are we thinking about?
Well, what do you think?
Sex.
How would you define conscience in this
Conscious, like
context?
guilt-free pleasure I want to enjoy at anybody else's expense. That's
No,
what
I'm
I'm
saying, how would you
thinking.
define the word conscience?
Conscience means a concept of this is problematic,
Yeah.
or this is a good thing, or this is a bad thing.
Yeah, an inner feeling or voice viewed as acting as a guide to the rightness or wrongness of one's behavior.
Sure.
So if I'm seeking pleasure with it, maybe the pleasure I want, I need to erase the conscience in order to experience the pleasure. That's a problem, right? If
Right. A lot of people try to do that. They feel like the conscience is something that um, is just socially
robs us.
constructed. It's been
Yeah.
inherited from some dogma from the Catholic Church or a Jewish background. But I think there is something to be, and there probably is some idea of ethics and regulation and self control inherited from a Judeo Christian background. But at the same time, there also is a feeling of worthiness when you behave in a worthy way. And it's not just subjective. There are things like regulating the desires of the body and regulating the senses and regulating the mind, controlling the
Yeah.
mind. These actually give a feeling of worth.
Yeah, our pleasures, if our consciousness is being triggered by when we enjoy pleasure, then we can either say we could either say, let me learn to find pleasure in a way that my conscience doesn't have a problem with,
Sure.
or we can say, let me eliminate the conscience. That's the problem, and I might try to justify that or rationalize that in all kind of ways, right?
Sure. And people do it.
And people do it all the
I
time.
think that's sort of like your friend. What's his name? The Church of Satan guy.
And the Church of Satan is all about that.
Yeah.
Okay, then knowledge without character. Now, here's the definition of character:
Mm.
the mental or moral qualities distinctive to an individual,
Mm.
or strength and originality in a person's nature, or a person's good reputation.
Mm.
Okay, but knowledge without character. Right, we learn so many things, but are we being trained in character along
Oh,
with that parallel? Right.
right. Right.
So we tend to focus on, if when we go to school, we learn how to make wealth so that
Sure.
we can go out and seek pleasure, and we get knowledge, for the same purpose. But are we being trained in in character?
It's just like
Yes.
unbridled. I like the concept of capitalism, but unbridled capitalism can be like knowledge uh, without character. If
Can
we're
be.
we're just like, um, you know where I'm going with that?
Or pleasure without conscience.
Yeah, I
You
guess
know,
it's the same too. Yeah,
there's a tension between capitalism and socialism or communism, whatever. And the point is, whether it's a government can exploit people or corporations can become as powerful as governments and exploit people.
yeah.
So it's it's not that but people choose one side and they just scream at the other, right? The point is,
Yeah.
there's got to be a balance. We got to try to make sure that we aren't exploited by either. Okay, then commerce without morality.
Commerce. Okay.
Yeah, making money.
Yeah, which is what we're
S-
doing to the earth right now. We're digging, we're plowing, we're doing open pit mining,
sure.
commerce.
Or
We're having like children mine for our cell phone batteries for cobalt and for
yeah,
Mara's
yeah,
electric car. Bunch of
yeah.
children. It's your electric car now. Yes, it
In one
is.
s- in one
When
sense,
it's
that
saving
is
when
the
it's saving oil, it's my electric car.
in one sense that is the weakness of capitalism.
Yeah.
That there's no adult in the room that's gonna say,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, we're heading down a bad path here." So, like,
Mm-hmm.
whether we're destroying the earth or whatever it may be, if there's more money to be made, that becomes the highest principle.
Mm.
So, commerce without morality, science without humanity. I mean, jeez,
Yeah.
if
That's what
AI
there
isn't.
Oh my God. Have you seen these goggles everyone's wearing and they're walking around just touching things? Have you seen that yet?
I have, well, what you talking about? Virtual reality?
The virtual reality, but they can wear them. They can drive the car with them, and they can walk around the street with them on.
I haven't seen that.
It's like a big thing. And now they've made glasses. They're making glasses that you can put on, and like eyeglasses that you can talk on the phone. It's just like I remember. I remember when I first moved to New York. That's how I know. And I had the iPhone 3. I just got an iPhone. That was iPhone 3. Do you remember when your first iPhone? What was your first numbered iPhone?
I have no idea.
Come on, you don't know your
I
first
have
iPhone was?
absolutely zero idea.
All right, put it on the board, people. I want to
I
hear
don't know which
people's
I have
first
now.
iPhone. You don't know what you have now? I
No.
want to see everybody's first iPhone. My first one was the iPhone 3. I went from the BlackBerry to an iPhone, and I was like, this thing is amazing. And you had headphones, and you walked around with the iPhone. Timothy Tucker had iPhone 3 too. So I'm walking around with that iPhone with earplugs in, just walking around, and everybody is. It was like the first time because I was living in upstate New York, and so then I walked to the city, and everyone's got their face in their phone. It was shocking that all of New York was walking around with their face in their phone, and now kids facing the phone, adults facing the phone, logging off, facing my phone. Talk to Mara about that. And anyway, it's going to be now we're wearing goggles and glasses. It's like, what kind of the dystopian reality is? We're in it.
Science
Are
without
you
humanity.
worried about that?
Yeah. With the anyway, we can talk about all these things forever. The whole AI and Chat GPT and anything that you're reading now, you don't know if it was written by a human or not. Any image that you're looking at, you don't know if it's.
I don't even know
it's
if that's
real.
you right now. This could be a
Might
Chat
not be.
GPT of you.
Could be.
They can do that and say things Kostuba would say. Chat GPT, right? Laugh like Kostuba, right?
Yeah. Okay, then
We should
6
do a
was
full AI Bhagavatam thing where it's not even us. Wouldn't
we
that be
could try
cool?
that.
And see if we can fool people.
Okay, the next one was religion without sacrifice, which I think that's honestly, as much as I think there's such beauty in Christianity, I think like practically the whole church just got infected with this idea that the sacrifice is all done by Jesus.
That's interesting.
And that you're not supposed to sacrifice yourself because you're a sinner by nature anyway.
Well, sometimes Christians will tell a Christian, well, we don't have illicit sex, we don't take drugs, and they're like, well, wait a second, you trying to become sinless? Christ was the only sinless person. You'll never be sinless. You're broken. You're filthy. You just got to surrender to Christ. Christ was died for your sins.
Yeah.
So that's where they.
So really, that connection has so much to do with what we sacrifice, how we sacrifice our time, how we sacrifice our body, how we sacrifice our words, how we sacrifice our mind, what we give up. Otherwise that religion just it can very easily just become some kind of vehicle for derision and division and so on. Okay, the last one was politics without principle.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, we could go on and on about that. Yeah.
Anyway, thank you. Thank you, Gandhi.
I appreciate this list. I think I want to take it and look in my own life, apply this to my own life and see how I can, where we engage with these different things, whether it be wealth, pleasure, knowledge, commerce, science, religion, or politics, how in any of those fields, our thought, our words, our behavior can become enriched with these other ingredients, again, work, conscience, character, morality, humanity, sacrifice, and principle. All right. A little something to think about.
All right. That was a good one.
All right.
Let's dive in. Srimad Bhagavatam, ready?
Okay.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam madirayat. Before we start in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan and to Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Sri Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayesha badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati utama sloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees. All that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Tamarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Madatam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 3, text. You remember what text we're on? I know you
17 maybe?
you queued it up, but I lost it. Okay, 17. Okay, we got Lord Brahma speaking now.
No. Is it Lord? Oh, maybe it is.
Yeah,
Brahma
so it
speaking?
starts with
Yeah, you're
Lord
right.
Brahma
Okay.
Uvacha.
Yeah, that's a good clue.
Lord Brahma said, O son of Kashyapa Muni, please get
That's
up, please get up.
Hiranyakashipu.
Yeah. All good fortune to you. You are now perfect in the performance of your austerities, and therefore I may give you a benediction. You may now ask from me whatever you desire, and I shall try to fulfill your wish. So that seems like the best material desire, immortality. That's what he's going to want.
That's what he's going to aim for, yeah.
Text 18. I've been very much astonished to see your endurance, in spite of being eaten and bitten by all kinds of worms and ants. You are keeping your life air circulating within your bones. Certainly, this is quite wonderful. Even saintly persons like Brigu, born previously, could not perform such severe austerities, nor will anyone in the future be able to do so. Who within these three worlds can sustain his life without even drinking water for 100 celestial years? You know, it's weird. People are still doing this stuff. People are doing weird austerities in India. You ever see guys like walking with their hand in the air? Ever see those guys?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, usually they're standing around more than walking, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, but they're just, they've got one arm in the air. It's like skinny.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they're supposed to get from that. I should just interview
I
one
think
of them.
I've shared with my thoughts on that before.
What?
Well, the way that I understand that from a yogic perspective, and and again, this is someone that's going to like takes a vow and they keep their hand up in the air for 15 years or something like that. They don't bring it down. Even when they go to sleep, they tie it up. It has to do with, again, if I understand it correctly, it's, we would call this person a tapasvi, right? Someone who's performing some kind of yogic tapasya, some kind of yogic austerity. But, as all yoga is related to the mind. So my understanding of that is through one act of defiance, one shows the mind who's in control, right? Because the mind is going to
Sure.
say, put the arm down.
Put the arm down. Are you crazy? Put it down. All
Yeah.
you got to do is put it down. No one's going to care. Nope, not going to do it.
Yeah. So
rather
I'm not
choose
giving
cold.
the mind any.
I'd rather choose cold showers. Okay. My dear son of Diti. So Diti is the mother of the demons, and Aditi is the mother of the demigods. My dear son of Diti, with your great determination and austerity, you have done what was impossible even for great saintly persons, and thus I've certainly been conquered by you. O best of the demons, for this reason I am now prepared to give you all benedictions according to your desire. I belong to the celestial world of demigods who do not die like human beings. Therefore, although you are subject to death, your audience with me will not go in vain. Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Is Hiranyakashipu a demon? Or, I'm sorry, a human? Or is he a Rakshasa? Or are some Rakshasas humans?
I believe he has been referred to as Rakshasa.
Are Rakshasas humans? Or are they a whole different species?
Humanoid.
Humanoid? What is this, like Lost in Space?
Well, they have a body like a human,
Humanoid.
But they're certainly more powerful than what we think of when we think of humans.
Okay. Sri Narada Muni continued. After speaking these words, Hiranyakashipu, Lord Brahma, the original
After speaking these words to Hiranyakashipu. You with us, Ragana? You okay?
Yeah. Mara's saying I missed a sentence. Therefore, although you are subject to death, your audience will not.
With
Your
me will
audience
not
with
go in
me will
vain.
not go in vain. I read that. Sri Narada Muni continued. After speaking these words to Hiranyakashipu, Lord Brahma, the original being of this universe, who is extremely powerful, sprinkled transcendental, infallible spiritual water from his kamandalu. Here is a
Water
picture
pot.
of Brahma with his little water pot upon Hiranyakashipu's body, which had been eaten away by ants and moths. Disgusting. Thus he enlivened Hiranyakashipu. I think he got the body back, not just.
No, well, he's going to get a body better than before, much better than before.
Okay. As soon as he was sprinkled with water from Lord Brahma's water pot, Hiranyakashipu arose, endowed with a full body with limbs so strong that they could bear the striking of a thunderbolt. With physical strength and bodily luster resembling molten gold, he emerged from the anthill a completely young man, just as fire springs from fuel wood. Seeing Lord Brahma present before him in the sky, carried by his swan airplane, Hiranyakashipu was extremely pleased. He immediately fell flat with his head on the ground and began to express obligation to the Lord. So he's being pretty religious here. He's bowing down to Lord Brahma.
Yes.
Then getting up from the ground and seeing Lord Brahma before him, the head of the demons was overwhelmed by jubilation. With tears in his eyes, his whole body shivering, he began praying in a humble mood, with folded hands and faltering voice, to satisfy Lord Brahma. Now this is Hiranyakashipu's prayer. It's very interesting. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord within this universe. At the end of each day of his life, the universe is fully covered with dense darkness by the influence of time. And then again, during the next day, that self-effulgent Lord, by his own effulgence, manifests, maintains, and destroys the entire cosmic manifestation through the material energy, which is invested with the three modes of material nature. He, Lord Brahma, is the shelter of those modes of nature, Sattva guna, Rajaguna, and Tamoguna. So he's not offering these prayers to Vishnu. He's offering the prayers to Brahma.
Yeah, he definitely would never offer him to Vishnu.
No. I offer my obeisances to the original. It's interesting, though. He still accepts a higher power. He's not.
Yeah, but I think higher in the sense that he's saying, you've got something, but I could get it too. Right?
That's interesting. Yeah, that's not our philosophy, where you want to actually just take the position.
Yeah.
We like to be servants of higher powers, gurus, teachers, forefathers, etc. He wants the position of Brahma.
Yeah.
I offer my obeisances to the original personality of the universe, Lord Brahma, who is cognizant and who can apply his mind and realized intelligence in creating this cosmic manifestation. It is because of his activities that everything within the universe is visible. He is therefore the cause of all manifestations. Your Lordship, being the origin of the life of this material world, Your Lordship, being the origin of the life of this material world, is the master and controller of the living entities, both moving and stationary, and you inspire their consciousness. You maintain the mind and the acting and knowledge acquiring senses, and therefore you are the great controller of all material elements and their qualities, and you are the controller of all desires. My dear Lord, by your form as the Vedas personified, and through knowledge relating to the activities of the Yogic Brahmins, you spread the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies of all of the 7 kinds of sacrifices, headed by Agni Stoma. Indeed, you inspire the Yogic Brahmanas to perform the rituals mentioned in the 3 Vedas. Being the supreme soul, the supreme of all living entities, you are beginningless, endless, and omniscient, beyond the limits of time and space. O my Lord, your lordship is eternally awake, seeing everything that happens. As eternal time, you reduce the duration of life for all living entities through your different parts, such as moments, seconds, minutes, and hours. Nonetheless, you are unchanged, resting in one place as the supersoul. Witness the witness and supreme Lord, the birthless, all-pervading controller, who is the cause of life for all living entities. I guess Brahma is the cause of life for all living entities.
In a sense, the thing is, one thing that Prabhupada mentions in his commentaries to some of these verses, he says, Lord Brahma is the original engine. Excuse me. Lord Krishna is the original creator, and Lord Brahma is the original engineer. Right. So Hiranyakashipu, he can recognize Brahma's power, but what he refused to recognize is that it's all coming from Vishnu.
Yeah, he doesn't want to give ultimate respect.
Yeah, that there's this being that's entirely superior on a eternally on a superior level. That is that everything he has is provided for by, and still was so powerful as to be able to kill his brother. Right. So there's that, that Vishnu killed his brother. So he's willing to recognize Brahma's unique power. And he's like, and I'm going to get that power through my austerities too. Just like Brahma did it, I can do it. And he can glorify him. But what he can't do is saying there is some other being out there that I'm dependent on that is that is categorically superior to myself. I can't accept that. That's I think the part of the nature of his asuric mentality.
Okay. Text 32. There is nothing separate from you, whether it be better or lower, stationary or moving. The knowledge derived from the Vedic scriptures like the Upanishads and from all the sublimbs of the original Vedic knowledge form your external body. You are Hiranyagarbha, the reservoir of the universe. But nonetheless, being situated as the supreme controller, you are transcendental to the material world, which consists of three modes of material nature. O my Lord, being changelessly situated in your own abode, you expand your universal form with this cosmic manifestation, thus appearing to taste the material world. You are Brahman, the supersoul, the oldest, the personality of Godhead. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who in his unlimited, unmanifested form, has expanded the cosmic manifestation, the form of the totality of the universe. He possesses external and internal energies and the mixed energy called the marginal potency, which consists of all the living entities. O my Lord, O best of the givers of benediction, if you will kindly grant me the benediction I desire, please let me not meet death from any of the living entities created by you.
Okay, so here comes his plea for immortality in a very specific way, because I think if we go back to what Brahma said to him, Brahma, right when he was speaking, said, right when he wrapped up his message, he mentioned something about, what was it that he said? He said something, in relation to his not being able to give him immortality. And so he said, let me see if I can find it. He goes on. Therefore, he said, I belong to the celestial world of demigods who do not die like human beings. Therefore, although you are subject to death, your audience with me will not go in vain. So I'm going to give you benedictions, but you are subject to death.
Yeah.
And hearing that, Hiranyakashipu is going to try to say, well, maybe there's a way that I can get around that. And so he's going to ask in a tricky way, he's going to still try to get immortality.
It's
so
tricky
his
for
first thing was, he said, I
It's-
don't want to, please let me not meet death from any of the living entities created by you. That's the first thing he asks.
Let me offer respectful obeisances unto the Supreme, who is unlimited, unmanifested form,
You
has
already read
expanded the cosmic. Okay.
You
35.
read
O my
35
Lord,
as
O
well.
best of the givers of benedictions, of benediction. If you will kindly grant me the benediction I desire, please let me not meet death from any of the living entities created by you. That was a pretty good
Yes.
one. Pretty clever. Grant
Yeah.
me that I not die with any residence within any residence. So within a house or outside any residence.
Seems to cover it
Covering his
all.
bases here. Huh? During the daytime and not during the nighttime either. Nor I don't want to be killed in the on the ground or in the sky.
He doesn't want to die on the ground or in the sky, even, right? He's not even
Yeah,
saying
it
killed.
seems like that alone, that benediction alone, can be sort of like save you. Although
Water, maybe.
car accident, yeah, in the
Water.
water. Grant me that my death not be brought by any being other than those created by you, nor by any weapon, nor by any human being or animal.
Okay.
Wait, what does that mean? Grant me that my death not be brought by any being other than those created by you.
Because he said, I don't want to be killed by any being that you created. I don't want to be killed by any being that you didn't create.
Okay, that's covering the bases too. Want to hear something crazy? I heard that I don't want to die. In another Purana, it says, I don't want to die on any month. And I think he was killed in Purushottam months. Interesting.
Okay.
Put that in your trivia book.
But Purushottam month is generally much later in the year, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I thought too, but that's what I read.
All right. Anyway, let's.
Grant me that I might not
Where
die.
did you read that, Reverend? Well, it was a comic book.
It was one of my comics. Mara? What? Where did I hear it from? You don't even know. Grant me that I may not meet death from any entity, living or non-living. Grant me further that I not be killed by any demigod or demon or by any great snake from the lower planets. He's covering all the bases there.
Mm-hmm.
Since no one can kill you in the battlefield, you have no competitor. Therefore, grant me the benediction that I too may have no rival. Give me sole lordship over all the living entities and presiding deities, and give me all the glories obtained by that position. Furthermore, give me all the mystic powers attained by long austerities and by the practice of yoga, for these cannot be lost at any time. Wow.
All that effort with a very specific desire of immortality.
Imagine how fun that would be at that point.
I'm not imagining that at all. What I'm imagining is just how fruitless this whole endeavor was.
Yeah,
it's
fruitless. Well, no,
huh?
it's got a fruit. It's just got a material fruit.
Yeah, but it's lost, and so in the end, it's fruitless.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's no protection in the material world. There's no sweet fruit in the material world.
He was
even the best of the sweet, right? Even the best of the sweetest fruits. It all becomes tasteless after some time.
But all that he just said, it shows that he has an understanding. He has some kind of understanding about how the universe is structured and how it works, how the laws work, how the systems work. And he looked at it all and he said, let me get around, rather than work with it, work in harmony with it. He said, let me get around it. Right?
Sure.
And he thought he found a way around it. And for a long time, it seemed like he had beat the system.
Well, it's not like he's just some foolish materialist. Going to work hard, going to make some money, and going to go out and enjoy it. He understands that the universe provides. You have to worship certain beings to get some results. He understands like there's power, and from power, I'll gain some strength. But I have to do things in such a way that my strength become unbeatable. It almost seems like he beat the system.
It almost seemed like he did.
There is no beating the system. You can't.
That's my point.
The system in the material world.
Yeah. So he thought, I can find my way through the power of my austerities and through the benedictions of the devas. I can take a position, and once I've got that position, I'm in control. I'll recreate the laws. I'll manipulate everything, and I'll beat the system. When we found that actually he had never beaten the system, he just kind of like he thrived in a sense. He thrived in the system for some time. Even then, was he happy? Like even when he had all that, like his son was getting him angry, his son's teachers are getting him angry.
Did we
He
ever talk
was
about Howard Hughes and his whole story and how he was so wealthy and he just became in that, and he got obsessed with protection and try to keep himself safe. And he was like a
there's a
super
germaphobe kind of
germphobe,
thing. Yeah.
super germphobe. And he ended up, you get to a certain point where you lose your mind because
Yeah.
you can't beat death no matter what you do to protect yourself.
Yeah. So when it seemed as though he had beat the system, but really, time is just ticking away, and it was just a matter of time before his artificial world collapses.
Mm.
Right. Whereas all that effort, all that sacrifice, all that austerity, if it were engaged not to get around the system or to beat the system, but applied within the system, he could have transcended the system.
Mm.
He could have transcended it. Oh, the effort that he put in, Raghunath, huh?
Oh, just like serious. It makes you analyze, what are we working so hard for? Where are we going with all of our hard work, with our endeavor? What are we working
Yeah,
for? What's the
yeah,
plan? What's the bigger picture of our life? Or is it to just is what is the point here? To save as much money so we can retire? Is that the goal? Is it to travel a lot and touch our foot on every continent? Is it to live a life filled with adventure? Is that the goal? Is it to raise a good family? Is that the goal? Is it just like we're all going to die, so enjoy as much as you can? Is
yeah,
that the goal? It's sort of like we're made to hear these stories and sort of recalibrate our intelligence. Hiranyakashipu, whatever you got, Hiranyakashipu's got more. You think you're doing pretty good in the material world? Hiranyakashipu's got better. He's done it better than we have.
yeah.
You know.
If we go back to Gandhi's things, in one sense, those are each one of them is a type of warning, like don't try to beat the system, right? Yes, you can have pleasure, but you can't have it without conscience. Yes, you can have commerce, but you can't have it without morality, or you will degrade yourself,
Mm,
and suffer because of it.
mm,
Yes, you can have science, but it has to be balanced with humanity. um in one sense, I see those as each one is kind of like that. Each one is saying, don't try to beat the system, right? The system, if you try to beat the system will beat you. But if you learn to move with the system, if you learn to benefit from the system, then you can actually transcend it. You can break, you can actually break through it.
mm,
It's funny because Hiranyakashipu, his austerity was unparalleled. And within the universe, it appeared his power was unparalleled. But what we see is that he was convinced there's no one more powerful than me. And then we saw just how that, and just how that was a complete illusion.
mm,
That his power was tiny in comparison to that of Vishnu. And at the same time, we hear that the harmonious attitude, in other words, the attitude of love, the attitude of devotion, the attitude that is in harmony with the laws of the universe, the attitude that is cultivated by working in harmony with the universal laws, ultimately, and that in the highest laws of divine love, that the person that possesses that love in the heart actually conquers Krishna, who is unconquerable,
mm.
right? That actually you become more powerful than God, right? You really
That's
do.
why I'm in this game, because
Okay.
that's why I'm doing all this stuff.
Yeah, but but it's a different type of power. That's the power of love, Roga. The power of
It's the
love.
power of love. When you love somebody, they'll do anything for you. You fully control somebody.
Yeah.
That's why they say that it is sudurlabha. It's very difficult to achieve pure devotional service because Krishna
Controls even Krishna.
Krishna gives up all his power.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
All right, let's take this party to Miss Mara, who's been very expertly taking notes.
I
All
have.
right. You got some takeaways?
I do.
Good ones?
They're great. Seek out the people you want to work with instead of the wealth you want to earn.
Okay.
Okay. From Kastuba.
I have a story about that, but I don't think we got time for it.
Okay. Does it
Maybe later.
involve cocaine?
No, that's not.
Find pleasure that your conscience doesn't have a problem with.
What about
Yeah,
cocaine?
about cocaine.
Behave in a worthy way to find self-worth.
Okay.
Worthy activities, please.
There are better ways to conquer the mind than keeping your hand raised for 15 years.
think
That is a way. There's probably
There are
better
ways.
There's better ways that, that help you when you swim. It's hard. If you were doing that, you couldn't swim. You'd have to swim with, you know what I mean?
That's a
Think
good
how many
point.
things you can't do with that arm in the air.
Recognize the supreme source behind Brahma's power.
And whenever you're in a group of people, people are thinking, oh, he's got a question. What would you like? He just has his hand up. Don't call on him. Okay, go on.
You're like, would anybody like to help me with the dishes tonight? You're like, oh,
Again,
great.
No,
thank
not me.
you."
Not me. I'm just doing my austerity.
There's no protection in the material world.
That we know. There's no protection in the material world. Ouch.
Work in harmony with the system because you can't cheat the system.
Can't cheat it.
Recalibrate your intelligence.
What does it mean when you're riding a bicycle and you raise your hand? Does it mean a left turn?
Oh. I think Kastuba should know. Wasn't he a bike messenger? He rides.
No, we never used hand signals.
Fair. All right.
No one ever did that L-shaped one, have they? Okay, I'm taking a right turn. Or there's even one where the arm goes down. I don't know.
I thought there were only two.
I think there's three. The arm down. No one's ever done that one, but that's the one you learn.
I thought it was only that one and
No,
that one.
it's this one and
I
this
think
one.
the straight out, I think, is a left turn. Anyway. Recalibrate your intelligence.
Recalibrate.
And
Arm down means slowing down. Thank you, Parrot.
whatever you've got, Hiranyakashipu has more.
He's got more.
Okay.
Yeah.
No show tomorrow.
I would like to pick Hiranyakashipu's brain. And then you think about that, Hiranyakashipu?
Your body was eating them,
All right, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. And remember, tomorrow is dig into the treasure chest of past episodes. Maybe you can listen to 2 tomorrow. Try to catch up on days off like this. This is your chance to really catch up. Stuba's going to be sitting in Mayapur, taking my good advice, which is don't do anything. Don't leave your room. Chant 32 rounds and let God write your book for you, Stuba. That's the advice I'm giving. I was spiritually touched, moved, and inspired.
Why are you trying to push it on me?
I'm not pushing for blue. I'm
You've
instructing
been pushing it on me.
you.
He's not
Instructing you out of love.
You're just like the
I
fourth
did
time
to
you tell
you.
me to do it. You're trying to push it on me.
Well, you know what? Sometimes when they say a sadhu says something 3 times, you gotta take it seriously. I can help
You
you.
have that in your book.
I can help you. Blue.
You're trying to manipulate me, Raghunath.
Blue. You have an untrusted heart. Trust me. I can help you. I can help you with that too.
That's their way of manipulating.
Open up your heart and let me in. Let me in that heart of yours. Oh, everybody. Stay warm in the snow. Wish us safe travels. What airlines are we on? We're on Indigo. That should be good. So next year we're doing not just Kirtan school, we're going Mridanga school. First 2 weeks are going to be for studying Mridanga. And also doing a 200 hours. And we're going to pack this Mridanga Eco Village out this year.